lot of y'all ask me, like, how come I don't post more story times, with happy endings? How come I don't post more story times with happy endings? And it's not that I don't post them. We just don't really get them. And what I think a lot of people fail to realize is people who are in happy and healthy relationships, it may not look the way that people envision that it should look. And beyond that, these relationships require a level of self-awareness, sacrifice, discipline, and commitment that most people honestly and truly are not ready to invest in. Now, that's not to say that, being in a happy and healthy relationship means that, it's always going to be good times, means that you need to tolerate disrespect, you need to tolerate abuse or any of those things. Like, there are going to be things that it's a no, like, irregardless, right? But being in a happy and healthy relationship also means compromise. It means understanding that, it's not always going to be 50-50. Like, sometimes you're going to give more, sometimes they're going to give more. And I'm not talking about finances, I'm talking about holistically, because the goal is to have balance within the situation. So think factors like accountability, consideration, etc., etc. And as both people evolve, as both parties in the situation evolve, like, what that looks like for them may be different. And so a lot of people don't necessarily feel comfortable talking about, what their happy and healthy relationship looks like for them because of the journey that they've been through, because of the sacrifices that they've made. Because sometimes when you bring certain things to the internet and you're talking about it, people want to nitpick at it. They want to nitpick at it and say, well, if I was in a situation, I would do this. If I was in a situation, I would do that. And so a lot of times people are not comfortable necessarily talking about their situations, because then when people start to poke holes in it, they may start to look at things, within their relationship. They may start to, think about things in a different way that could affect how they're living, in their marriages, in their respective relationships. And the last thing I'll say is that, relationships are unique to the individuals that are in it, right? What works for somebody may not work for you, right? What works for you may not work for somebody else. And so, a lot of times people just don't feel comfortable practicing that level of vulnerability with people who may not have empathy for them, with people who may not be respectful of their situations, right? Oscar, way too often we see situations where it's like somebody is sharing their truth with folks and people don't give them no grace. Like, I would never do that. I would never. It's not about you. It's not about you. If this works for them, you like it, I love it. But we don't live in that type of society. So I can understand why people may not necessarily be so willing to share those type of stories, because they don't want people poking holes in what they got going on.